lady was such a bitch. Hey YouTube users, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel. I look really small over here and behind all this food. But happy 4th of July. This is my own celebration because I don't really celebrate 4th of July. We kind of just eat to celebrate, and I think that's more than enough of a celebration. So today I have an extra large pizza from Papa John's and a variety of donuts from Pink Box, and I'm so freaking excited. And honestly, I already tried this one and I tried filming it differently. The hardest part about doing this YouTube thing is finding a really good setup. So I'm glad I changed it because I wasn't satisfied with what I had earlier. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. I already ate a piece of pizza in that clip, but that's fine. There's more than enough pizza for this whole video. This red, white, and blue donut was okay. I rate it like a 7. I would buy it. Like, I would eat it if it was in front of me. I would eat it. I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. And then this one is like an old-fashioned cake donut. I don't really like cake donuts, so I rate that like a 5. But I'll still eat it. So we're gonna do a story time, but before that, I'm gonna take another bite of this pizza. I asked for beef on it, but they put sausage. It's still good. I never tried their garlic sauce, so we're gonna try that right now. And if I fall in love with it, then, well, then I fall in love with it. Darn it. Okay. I'm gonna cut these donuts in half.
There's so much to choose from.
Let's start with like basic ones, because I always like to save like the best ones for last. Oh, this is a glazed buttermilk a glazed buttermilk cake bar. Hold on. Fuck. Okay, I'm sorry for like the change of like wideness of the screen. I just realized that I was doing like the skinnier version, so it's a good thing I caught that like 2 minutes in. Like I was saying, this is the glazed buttermilk cake bar. Cut it in half. They're not warm anymore, but I'm sure they're still good. Cut in half. I'll get the smaller pieces because I have a lot of donuts to try. Hold on. Do you see how in the middle there's like a cream? I don't know what that is. That's good. What the heck? It's like cakey, but then the top has like this moist, like, I don't know. Okay. We're gonna start with a story. My driving test story. So I took my driving test a month before I turned 18. Before you take your driving test, you of course have to take your permit test. If you're under the age of 18, then you have to wait 6 months until you take your driving test. Well, the first time I took my permit test, I totally failed. I honestly don't remember the questions, but I totally failed that test. I didn't study. But then again, the second time, I didn't study either. Anyway, so the first time, I took my test. I think it was like 2015. Yeah, around there, like 2015 or like beginning of 2016. I honestly don't remember. I was a lot older than my like graduating class because my birthday's in November, so I was like 16 when before like everybody else. So you could take your permit test when you're 15 and a half. You can take your driving test when you're 16 if you like followed that, but I didn't because I always procrastinated and didn't study. So obviously if you don't study, then you fail. That's what I did. I just remember you had to get under 11, or you had like 11 skips, and when you go over that limit, then you fail. You have to get like an 80% or something. I honestly don't remember. It's been like 3 years. But who else is this? I don't like eating my crust by itself. Like I like folding it with like a little bit of the pizza and then eating it like that because it's bomb.
Six and a half hours later.
I choose so slow. I honestly don't remember the rules for it. But the first time I totally failed. Came out like walk of shame. You come out that testing room, you're like, well, I failed. And then it was like a little while until I retook it again because I was like, I need to drive. Like I'm a senior in high school, I need to drive. So I retook it. I think
One eternity later.
my memory card was full, so I had to delete a few clips for a while until I took my permit test again. And up until that day, I didn't study. Like I would read it and take like those quizzes online. Whoever says to take those practice quizzes online and say that they passed only taking those is lying, because I took a bunch of those the first time and I didn't pass. But then again, there's like different questions. Like each test is different. So my form of studying the second time was I had the book, the driving book, the permit book or whatever, and my mom and I were waiting in line. And I think like my learning strategy for me, like everyone is different obviously, like people are auditory learners, visual learners, like what's the other one? Like they actually have to like, what's the word? I don't know, like they actually have to do it learners, I don't know. But yeah, I'm a super auditory learner and I like read the book out loud to my mom, or like I learn when I'm teaching someone else how to do it. So I was there, we were waiting in the DMV line, and you know how it goes at DMV, it's super long, like there's a long wait, and like you have to wait in line and then you have to wait again, and then they call you up and you have to like fill out all these paperworks. So I was studying while we were in line for the second time I got my permit test, and honestly I was flipping through the whole page. I honestly went through the whole book while we were waiting, and I was just reading it, and I was like, hey mom,
did you know that between the months of July and December,
I honestly don't remember this, you have to change your tires because of snow or whatever. But I live in Vegas, so snow doesn't even, it did snow this year, but that's like once in a lifetime. But yeah, so I was like reading it out loud to her. And if you are that type of learner, I recommend you doing that and like teaching someone, because you learn it and you observe it as well. Well, that's my tip because that's how I learned. So yeah, that's what I did. They called me in there. And obviously, it's like, taking that test is so nerve-wracking. Like, it's so scary taking that test. Like, I don't know why, like, what, just that permit test is like, dang, like, I just need to pass, you know, so you can start driving. Because once you pass your permit test, you can start driving with someone like an adult. At this point, I was like 16 and a half. No, I was like 17. And, so I took that test, and then I was taking this test, and I just remember this kid was next to me, and he like, seemed hella sus. Like, he looked like he was, like, looking at his phone, like, fidgeting a lot, and, like, I think, the person that was, like, watching us, like, caught on and was like, hey, like, keep your eyes to yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I remember I got, like, most of them right. I only needed one more question to pass, and, like, I still had all my skips during that time. So, I think I used all my skips. Yeah, I think I used all my skips, but I could still get, like, 11 wrong. And so, like, I used all my skips, and I was like, dang, like, which one? Like, I couldn't just, like, I had to guess. Like, it was a true and false question. I don't remember the question, but I remember it was a true and false. So, with true and false, you have a 50-50 chance of getting that wrong or right. So, I was like, dang, like, I just need one more, and I can't skip anymore. And so, thank goodness, I suck at taking tests, but thank goodness it came through this time, because I was about to fail that. I only need one more question, and if I got that wrong, I don't remember what I answered. If I got that wrong, it would have been done. I would have failed a second time, but I didn't. I passed. So yeah, I got my permit, and the person that taught me how to drive was, sometimes my mom let me drive, but I honestly didn't like driving with my mom because she's scary, and she just yelled at every little thing that we did wrong. Like,
the door.
Even if we were doing okay. Like, it's just, like, I'd be the same. Like, if like, my sister's about to start driving, and if I, like, teach her how to drive, I'm gonna be the same as my mom. Like, I'm gonna freak out, like, every little thing. Like, brake, 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 brake! But, you know, that's just how it is. Like, it's scary. Okay, we're gonna try another donut. Let's try this one. I don't know what this is. I honestly don't know. I don't know. It looks like caramel drizzle chocolate thing, what this is, but whatever. We're gonna cut it in half. By this. Holy moly.
What it do, baby? Yeah, yo.
Caramel stuck to my teeth. Reminds me of, like, the caramel, like, caramel apples. Like, if you dip the caramel apple, like, the outside of it, but it's soft, obviously, because it's a donut. Really good. I rate it an 8.5. Is there chocolate on my teeth? Anyways. I passed my permit test. Oh yeah, people who taught me how to drive. So my mom let me drive sometimes to school. But I got to the point where I like really want to drive. Be like, oh, let's go drive. Like, you know how like you first start driving, you like love driving. That's how I was. I always wanted to drive. But my mom never had time. Because you need a certain amount of hours to drive, and she was always working, which I understand. So I asked our family friend named TJ. Shout out to you. You helped me. And Luke. Luke tagged along, even though I like basically almost killed them half the time. I just really wanted to get my license. Because at that point, I was already a senior in high school. And I would usually carpool with my friend Jaina. And so, yeah, so I was like, at that point, I was like super desperate to just get my license. So I texted TJ, I was like, hey TJ, like, cause I think you have to be 21 and have like 3 years of driving experience or something to teach someone that just has their permit. So he was like 22, 23, or 21. I don't know. But yeah. I hit him up. I was like, hey, TJ, like, can we go, like, driving? So, like, on Sundays, around, like, morning time, like, 10 a.m., we would just drive around. Like, he would come to my house, and then we'd take my mom's little Scion, and then we'd drive around for, like, hours. We would go get boba, or, like, oh, let's go get food. Like, that's what we would do. Just for me to practice driving, we would just drive everywhere, or, like, near the place where I'd be testing. So that's what we did, like, for a good month and a half. I honestly don't remember. I just remember the first time me driving in, like, a parking lot. It was with my brother. And that was terrible, yo. I used to think, like, when you have to turn, because you know how you have to do, like, left, right, over left, or whatever, for your test. So I was practicing that, and I, like, used to think, like, when you turn, you have to, like, turn the wheel all the way. And so I remember me and my brother were at, like, the RC Willie's parking lot. We were just driving there, and I was, like, not even touching the gas. I was just strolling. And then I saw a car in the parking lot, and I was like, oh my god, there's a car, oh my gosh. I'd freak out. It was only that one time we went to RC Willie's, or that's like the only time he actually drove with me. And I drove with my dad one time down the street outside my house, and I like pressed on the gas too abruptly, and so like it jerked him back and he got scared. So after that I haven't driven him. So moving along, I've been practicing my driving, and it was like October. I've been nagging my mom to take my test. You have to schedule it, all that, get it approved at school. So much paperwork, which is annoying, but you know, there's a lot of drivers that shouldn't be driving. The day finally came where I could take my test. My mom finally took me to the DMV. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was like my senior night for volleyball. And so it was before my game. And my game started at like 5 or 6. And so my mom had to pick me up early from school. We had to make an excuse, of course, and be like, oh, we have a dentist appointment. Because it's so hard to set an appointment, so like the only times would be when I was at school. We got to the place, we had to like check in and like have all our paperwork signed up, and then you had to like give your driving log, and like the log was super like complicated. I totally BS'd it. I wrote random hours, like, oh yeah, I drove like 10 hours one night. Okay. But yeah, I totally BS'd that. Turned it in, was approved, whatever. And so I was like looking at the driving people testers. And there's this one girl that my mom saw. I was like, oh my god, that was your brother's teacher. Or that was the girl that tested your brother when he took the test. I was like, oh my gosh, I want her. I said she was super nice or whatever. And then I saw this guy. He looked super cool, so I was like, I hope I get him. And then there was this blonde lady that didn't look too nice. Blonde lady. It's like, oh, I hope I don't get her. And so like you can check like every time someone, like they take turns, obviously they come back and get someone else, come back, get someone else. And then it was my turn. Guess who called my name? Little old blonde lady. I was so freaking scared because I just heard her voice and I was like, oh, this is not happening. Okay, we're gonna try. Honestly, don't think I'm gonna like this one. Plain vanilla cake with cinnamon sugar. This. It's really simple, but it's good. Just like a churro. I would assume that does because it's cinnamon sugar. Little blonde girl. I mean, she wasn't little. She had some meat to her, but just from like her voice, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna be so mean. I was just nervous. Before, like, obviously I was nervous. Before she called me though, this phone call was the reason I felt better. So my dad called right before I took my test, right before I got called up. He was like, hi hon, like my nickname at home is Honey. He's like, hi hon, like good luck and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm so nervous. And he was like, don't be nervous, you shouldn't be scared. The person that should be scared is the person giving you the test because you're the one driving. And I know it was like he's calling me a bad driver, but at the same time I was like, you're right, like I shouldn't be scared. They should be scared for their life. Like I'm the one who doesn't have a driver's license and they do. And so after that, like I just felt better. I was like, you're right, Dad, like thank you for that. And so that like boosted up my confidence. Even though he said I was a bad driver, that boosted up my confidence a lot. And so I went in there, I was like, you know what, if I fail, I fail. If I pass, then I pass. So my mom has like a tiny car, like a red Scion, and so like it's super easy to like get to places and stuff. And so it was October, and you know, global warming. It was hot in October. I don't know why it was hot, but it was hot in October. And so this lady, first they like tell you to like check your lights and like if your lights work and like left and right, like your signals and stuff. So she did that, like do your left signal, do your right signal, and then she got into the car and I turned on the air conditioning to 1, like I said it, and then this girl reaches over and cranks it up, and I was like, okay, I guess you do you, Sally. We're gonna call her Sally. And I know I seem like a super outgoing person, like I'm super loud and like vibrant and like energetic, but when it comes to like serious moments, I really close myself, and if I'm not comfortable, if I'm nervous, like I'm like, I'm a good little church girl. Sally cranks up the air conditioning. And she's like, okay, back up now. So I backed up. You know, you have to look over your shoulder. But whatever. I got out of the parking spot. Started driving like outwards. And she said something, but I honestly didn't hear her. I thought she was just like, okay, like we're gonna go here. But she said, turn left. And then I passed a left turn. She was like,
I told you to turn left.
I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. She's
Like, you need to listen next time.
mind you, this is like right in the beginning, and she's already yelling at me. I'm like, oh my god, I'm done. Like, take me back already. I failed. And so she's like, whatever, like turn right here. And you're gonna turn left at that light. So this light was broken. It was like a stoplight, but it was like a left turn. I was in the left turn lane to turn left, but my light was broken. Like it was covered. Like they were fixing it. And I was like, what do I do? Like, how do I know when to go? Because it's not working. She's like,
I don't know, you're supposed to know this.
I'm like, so I just waited it out. I waited it out. I was like, okay, like, do I go? Like, when do I go? So I kind of just winged it and I just went. She's like, okay. Like, Obviously, if you did that incorrectly, she would have told me to go back, but she didn't. So I was like, I guess I did it correctly. So she told me to turn left. We kept going. She's like, okay, change lanes. And I've noticed when you're taking your driving test, they make sure that there's nobody to your right if you're changing lanes. Like, they make sure. They check before you check, but they just check you if you check too, if that makes sense. She was like, okay, change lanes, change lanes. She told me to make a right on like into a neighborhood. And so like there's different speed limits in neighborhoods. I think it's like 25 if it's a neighborhood. And I was just like reading the signs and it said 15. I was going 15. It said school zone, and I know there wasn't school during that time, or it wasn't flashing, but I still went 15 just to be safe. And she started yelling. She was like,
It's 25 right now.
like, oh, okay. My dumbass. Oh, okay. Sorry. And then, so for, like, I watched a lot of YouTube videos before I took a test, like what they look for and all that stuff. So I watched a lot of videos, and they told me for a stop sign, you have to stop before the stop sign, and then you creep up and then look both ways. So that's what I kept doing, because I was trying to follow the rules, you know? And so in that neighborhood, we got to a stop sign, and I like stopped before it, and I saw a car coming, and it was like coming kind of slow but kind of fast at the same time, but I was just trying to be safe. So I stopped before the stop, and then I crept up, like looked both ways. She's like,
Go, go.
and I'm like, okay. And then we got to a four-way stop. This is probably my fault. We got to a four-way stop. I didn't realize it was a four-way stop, but I saw like the pedestrian crossing. So I watched a video that said you have to make sure that the pedestrian crosses before you go, blah, blah, blah. And so I was waiting for them to cross, and then she was like,
You can't stop and creep up. You can't like keep creeping up like that. Like they're gonna think that it's not your turn, blah, blah, blah.
I was like, okay. Or like I didn't say anything. I just went, and then like at the right time, obviously. And then she was like,
Okay, like do you understand?
I was like, yes, ma'am. I don't say ma'am a lot. Well, I started saying ma'am a lot more because like my boyfriend says yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, like all the time. So it's like rubbing off on me. He's so polite. But yeah, so like during that time, I never like, it wasn't common for me to hear yes, ma'am, yes, sir, or like all that stuff. And so she yelled at me again. I was like, yes, ma'am. There's this one point, I remember we were creeping up to a left turn stoplight, and it was green. It just turned green, and she told me to change lanes. And so I was trying to like beat the light. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to beat the light, and then I was like looking at the light, or like I wasn't even looking at the light. I was looking at the lines. And I looked up, and it was red. So I had like, I pressed on that brake so freaking fast. And obviously I tried to like do a little, I tried to play it off. But I think she caught it because I think she deducted points. By the way, this cinnamon one was like a 7.5. I liked it. And so, yeah, we got there. I don't even remember taking the path back to the DMV. We went back because I was supposed to do the parallel park. You know how in the beginning I said, like, she told me to turn left, but I didn't? She wanted me to do my parallel parking first. So we had to go back and do the parallel. Totally failed the parallel. Totally failed it. I don't remember what I got on it, but I just know, you know. After the parallel, she told me to go like park at a spot. Behind the DMV. Okay, we're gonna try a different donut. We're gonna do a filled donut, I think. I don't know what this is. A glazed yeast shell with house-made mango filling topped with white whip, chamoy drizzle, tahine dust, and a drop of mango. Wow, that sounds fabulous. Yum. Okay, going to do. I can definitely taste the tahini. It's very interesting. It's like, it's good. It's like a weird, like a unique good. I don't really like the, like it feels, like it's not like icing, like I don't know how to explain it. The tahini really brings out the flavor. So she brings me back, tells me to park after the parallel parking. She was talking to me, she was like, okay, she said you did pretty good. The only thing is like you need to stay in the lane sometimes, like you kind of go to the right. And my friends told me that the other day when I was driving. I don't know. I think I'm a good driver. But yeah, you have to stay in the lane. You did pretty good. Stop creeping up because it's gonna make people think that it's not your turn or something. I think she was just talking about like the four-way stops and stuff, which I understand now because I don't even stop.
The door.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, so she told me to do that. She said overall you did pretty well, but we were in the car and she was talking to me about this, and I just like looked over at the paper and it had like X's, and I didn't know if it was good or bad because I thought like points, like you had to like get points to like, you know. She didn't tell me if I failed or if I passed. When we were in the car, I was like, we got out of the car. I was like, okay, can we just reschedule already? So she walked me back in or whatever, and there's this room. She's like, can you go into that room and grab that paper? I was like, oh my god, like, I heard about this room. Like, with other people, like, before I took my test, they were like, oh, did they take you to the room? And so she was like, okay, go into that room and grab that paper. I was like, what the heck? Like, I failed. She told me to go to the room. Told me to go in the room and grab a paper. And I was like, well, this is my rescheduling paper. This is how I reschedule. So she was like, okay, like, go fill it out over there with, like, all those other people. There's pens over there. I was like, okay. And then my mom comes up. She's like, did you pass? I was like, I don't know. And then there's this other lady there. I asked her, I was like, did you pass? Like, is this the paper that, like, what are you filling out? She's like, oh, yeah, like, my person told me I passed. I was like, my person didn't even tell me if I passed or not. Like, is this the same paper? So I looked at the paper, and it's like, is this something about, like, driver's license? I'm actually going to put up the paper because she gave it to me afterwards. So she gave me like my scoring sheet. I'm gonna put it up right now. And so the X's that I saw were actually like points not deducted. So everyone starts with 100, and like if you do something wrong, then they mark it off, like the like tally marks. And so I was looking, and honestly, I was like, dang, like I really passed. Like I like passed by like a point, I think. Yeah, that's how I found out that I passed. Well, she didn't even tell me. I just found out on the paper and some other girl. But yeah, my lady was such a bitch. And honestly, if it wasn't for my dad calling me, I probably would have flipped out and freaked out. But the whole time I was driving, I was like, well, she chose to get into this car with me. She's the one making me take this test. So good luck to her, not to me. So yeah, that is my story for my driver's license. And I still need to try all these donuts. So we're gonna try it all. So it's a chocolate frosted half croissant, half donut. We're gonna... They could have filled it, but they chose not to. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Wow!
So fluffy. The chocolate on top is super thick too. Good. Mmm. Wow. That's solid. I honestly thought I was gonna eat more pizza than this, but I only ate 3 slices. And I think it's because I'm talking and then it like tells your body that you're full. Because the faster you eat, the slower you get full. The slower you eat, the faster you get full. Or like you're mentally full, I guess. Recommend. We're gonna do the cinnamon toast crunch. There's caramel drizzle on that. Oh. That cinnamon toast on top. Stale. I think that if I didn't drink water, I wouldn't be that full right now. Water's so good. Caramel frosted yeast shell topped with pretzel sticks, chocolate drizzle sprinkled with sea salt. That's beautiful. Okay, so the cinnamon toast crunch, it's like a 7. This one's like an 8. My mom's gonna like this one. Next one, okay, they have this. I know a lot of people are probably gonna cringe at this one, but they have hot Cheetos on one. I'm just gonna bite this one. It's just super stale. I'm super excited for this peanut butter and jelly, but look at this poop donut. It's a freaking poop. It's a freaking poop. Hold on, you're not ready for this. It's about to make, aw man, I just saw the bottom. It's a freaking cake donut. But look at the poop. I'm a child. I don't know how I'm gonna eat it. I think it's marshmallow. That's so mean, but we're gonna do it. Yeah, it's marshmallow. Oh yeah. Why? Oh, interesting. The chocolate outside is the same as the croissant one, or the cronut. Last but not least, I've always wanted to try a peanut butter jelly donut. I should have tried it first, honestly. Ooh. You know how sometimes in those Uncrustables, man, I'm upset. Those Uncrustables, you feel like there's too much peanut butter compared to the jelly inside. Well, this one, there's too much jelly. That's disappointing. I'm sad because I've always like watched mukbangers talk about peanut butter and jelly donuts, and they're like, oh my god, it's so good, and then I try it and then it's just, I think that's what happens when you have high expectations. Here's a life lesson. If you don't expect anything, you'll never end up disappointed. I just set myself up for failure for that expectation. Is all the donuts. That is all the food I'm eating. Obviously it's not going to waste, like my family's gonna eat some of this, and that's why I cut it, because I wasn't about to bite all of them and then be like, here you go, try this, and have all my bite marks on it. Now I'm full. It was a good day. I enjoyed the pizza. The pizza was good. I had 3 slices, which I am shocked that I only had 3 slices, but I'm probably gonna eat more in a little bit, like 4 hours and 3 hours. Probably have this donut if nobody eats it. I'll probably have this one, and yeah, that's I'm coming out with a new video. I'm starting a series called No Scale, No Stress, and I'm erasing the words cheat day and diet out of my vocabulary, out of my daily life. I'm calling these videos mukbangs or eating shows because honestly, living life freely shouldn't consist depriving yourself from anything. I've always failed, so I'm going to come out with a video talking about that. This is going to be my new outro. I hope to see you guys in my next video. I don't know, we'll see what I come up with. Comment, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to turn your post notifications on. Bye!